people see PhD, neuroscientist, ophthalmologist. Like, what does that PhD mean, right?
Yeah.
And what does a person have to do to obtain that PhD, and where do they have to spend their time? I'm not questioning any of that about the guy. I'm just saying people out there should be like, okay, well, who am I talking to here?
Yeah.
Who is this person? What are they basing their stuff on? He's not holding his PhD up saying I can talk about this because.
Yeah.
Not at all. He's never done that in my
he comes off pretty humble mostly.
That's what I really liked about the guy, and still do. I still really like that about him. But there's a distinction in terms of like what you're practicing and what you've actually done, and going back to the experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the experience of being a practitioner, maybe a physiotherapist who goes to work every day and has for 10 years or whatever, and sees 30 patients a day, dealing with back pain and all the things that come along with that. In that process for each and every individual, the process for the practitioner, the things that he or she has seen be successful or not successful based on the individual instance, all those things. There's that kind of practical, I'd say, like clinical application, and more specifically experience.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the experience of talking to a bunch of physiotherapists. So now I put 100 physiotherapists in a room and I talk to them and I get their feedback. That is certainly an experience. And so basically, like, I'm aggregating all of this information that I'm getting from the people that are actually practically applying it. That is another type of experience. Like, I've gotten several types of those types of experiences. It's a little redundant, but in my pathway in this business, the health and fitness business for sure, as well as other businesses. One of the things I loved about jumping into kind of the firearms training space and this whole, genre of preparedness, because I was getting to talk to all these people that had all this other experience. Now, I don't sit there and say, because I've talked to these people that have had this experience, I know how to do this yet. All I can say is, like, I have talked to these people. They have had these experiences. This is what they say. And maybe this is my experience in trying to practice it myself. But all of those are very different, right? So while I have experience, what type of experience do I have? And the other one would be like the guy, and we see this all the time, and I think this is one of the bigger challenges I find in the fitness business, is somebody's had some success somewhere in something. An example, the meathead approach. Like, I just lift heavy shit, I do the bro splits, and I've gotten results from that. Yeah, that shit works, right? For a while, and then maybe at some point it doesn't, and you're looking for a change or an answer to your shortcoming, or your let's just say your what's the word I'm looking for? Like, shortcoming is not the right deficiencies.
Yeah, there you go.
Right, whatever. However you want to put
areas of opportunity.
Areas of opportunity. Right? But then there's also the guy. There's also the guy who's had, like, let's say the ACL tear, right, and ultimately has gone through the whole process of having that repair, right, which is usually in general takes about a year to get through the thing. Mm-hmm. You have the injury. You get the assessment, you finally get the surgery, you get the therapy, you go through that, and then you're doing the exercises. And it's about like, if you're doing a really good job on a total ACL, what is it? It's maybe like 9 months.
9 to 12 months.
Yeah. From start to finish.
Yeah, there's variability. Right?
And there's a lot of that goes into that, right? Tons of variability, right? That goes into that based on the person, the situation, the circumstance, all of those kind of things. But to come out the other end of that and think that you're a fucking expert on ACL surgeries is ridiculous. And I think most people would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yet you have this confidence as the person that went through this experience, right? And we hear this term being used sort of in the social construct of, that is my personal life experience. So this is the way I identify with this particular thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to completely discount it, but at the same time, bro,
that's you.
That's you,
yes,
man. That is you. So to take your personal experience and apply that across the board as the basis for how you may give somebody instruction on how to go through their own process and treatment, and call it that, in a position where this person is now maybe taking your advice to make life decisions, I think that's a little bit of a problem. So again, that's like the based on experience piece, the staying in your lane, what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. And I think that was part of my problem with listening to this. And I could see where it's a bit of a problem for the practitioners out there that are going, dude, what some of the stuff that was saying was like, you've set us back like 10 years in terms of 10 to 20 years in terms of helping people. And I'm like, I don't know if that's fair to say. Can you really say that? But I mean, what's your take on that? Like, in terms of what this might create in terms of challenges for those that are working in practice every day with 30 patients a day that deal with this all the time. What do you anticipate?
Well, it's my frustration. I think it's a similar situation when the person gets all their nutrition advice from their MD or something like that, where they're getting this advice from someone who, yes, has respect and recognition and some experience of their own, and then they've talked to some professionals, and so they feel qualified to give this information. But I think, we need to meld information and data and studies and all this different things, but you have to meld that with your experience as a practitioner, a treatment, a therapist. You actually had to have worked with many individuals.